ArtFight is cooked. I want to preface this entire video first by stating, I'm using a text-to-speech tool because I am transy, they, and a minor, and am not comfortable using my own voice. I would have used voice mod, but there were no good voices today, so we're here. Additionally, I'd like to also say, I am not trying to add fuel to the fire, nor am I stating that the situation is drama. Please do not attack other creators or ArtFight themselves, as acting immaturely will not help change the rules. Anyways, I hope you enjoy the discussion. Please keep comments respectful. I hope you enjoy some of my prep videos in the background. Also, if you'd like, you can check the description to find my socials and ArtFight page. Now, I've never been the type to actively participate in art commentary. I prefer just to stick in my own itty-bitty corner of the internet, nor have I ever publicly discussed drama. However, I've become quite passionate about ArtFight since my first year participating in 2022, but I'd like to add my 2 cents because I think this is a little distasteful, at the very least. About a week ago, ArtFight had a semi-major update, changing the old BB code system to the HTML system, among many other small changes, including an update to the rules, which many people noticed very quickly. Controversial rule number 5 regarding uploads. Rule 5 states, bases, character creators, and doll makers may be used for character images, but must be credited. They may not be used for tax. This includes websites like Picru, Araforge, video game character creators, and other doll makers. This includes artwork traced from posable 3D models, such as Clip Studio Paint, Design Doll, and similar programs, self-made bases, and photographs you have taken. To say the community was pissed off was a bit of an understatement. I completely understand not using Picrus and other character creators, as well as bases, whether you made them or not. However, outright banning 3D models, I find, is a very ridiculous rule. I personally don't like tracing 3D models. However, I often use them as a visual reference when I draw. Additionally, I also use my own photos for this purpose. I fail to understand how using 3D models and photos, especially our own, is a bannable offense. I've spoken to some people about this IRL, and they have agreed with the consensus. I'm curious, as artists themselves, the minds behind ArtFight disallowed this method of creation. In the animation and art industry, rotoscoping and using 3D models of characters have assisted artists greatly as direct or visual references. Additionally, I don't understand it. Now this could be me failing to comprehend the rule, and if I have, please let me know why. But what if you made your own 3D model? Is that a bannable offense as well? How will this be enforceable when someone could very easily stylize or change the pose after tracing it? What's stopping that? And what if you're falsely accused? Moreover, my opinion remains the same, with photobashing and collaging outlined in Rule 6, quote in full, photography that you do not own or have permission to use may not be posted by itself. Photographs may be used as backgrounds and mood boards in attacks and character images, but may not be counted for points. Crediting photography is encouraged, but not necessary. Mood boards cannot be posted on their own for character images or attacks. Photobashing and collaging are not permitted. I have seen with my own eyes character designers in the industry photobashing to create character designs. So why should someone be punished with no points at all? If I can find the person I'm thinking of, I will link them below, because that shit looks so cool. I also fail to see how this is an issue if the individual has also taken their own photos and or drawn the specific articles to photobash with. Again, how is this enforceable when this is used as a method of planning or even sketching? How is properly using a 3D model and photobashing banned, but we're not encouraged to credit another artist's photography? Last time I checked, that could get the individual and or ArtFight themselves in legal trouble. If an alleged photographer is a little too shrewy, they could file for copyright infringement, which is no good for anyone. I'm quite disappointed in these rules, I understand why misusing 3D models or collaging can be harmful. However, I find it's very unfair to disabled artists with aphantasia and depth perception issues stemming from physical and neurological conditions. For those who are unaware, aphantasia is a condition where someone is unable to create mental images. Essentially, their imagination is completely blank and are unable to visualize something effectively, or not at all. And someone with depth perception issues may often struggle with grasping perspective and anatomy, especially regarding the human body. Which is why I'm failing to see why appropriate and honest use of 3D modeling, photo bashing, etc. isn't allowed as a much-needed tool. I'm also very disappointed because I have seen many other artists reluctant to come back for ArtFight in 2026 or artists new to ArtFight simply discouraged from joining at all, which then further punishes its active participants as it could lead to a decrease in active users, which sucks ass for others as it may impact the overall ArtFight experience. Now, this may not be true, but it seems likely to me. Finally, I don't completely agree with the amendment to the DNR rule, as most DNIs are already covered by ArtFight. I can definitely see this being used more as a harassment tool than anything else, which is sad to see. However, I have witnessed this as someone who occasionally browses Toy House. If you know, you know. Other than that, I don't have much more to comment on. I do hope they reconsider the rules on 3D models, at the very least. Anyways, I hope you have a great day. Like and subscribe, or don't. I don't entirely care. Ciao and good night.